the porn space was very educational for me. Psst. When I create ads, in my mind, I'm always pretending that I'm that door-to-door sales guy. I realized how important numbers were. If you don't know your numbers, you're not gonna be profitable at all. My biggest goal is to make sure that whatever we do, whatever we say, and however these videos look, it has to be impactful in the very first few seconds. And so if it visually is not captivating, they're never gonna hit the unmute button.
Let's talk about you creating content about yourself. When did you start publishing yourself and what motivated you to do that?
I actually have not done any publication of my own self ever.
The Content Capitalist Podcast.
I've never ran ads in that way before. I realized how important numbers were. Working on those porn companies back in the day, Pornhub, X videos, RedShoot, I found Access, all those numbers are really like, if you don't know your numbers, you're not going to be profitable at all. Back then, we didn't have,
When you say back then, how long ago was this?
this is probably about 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
Okay, that's not too far along.
You weren't allowed to run on your normal marketing platforms like Facebook ads and Google and YouTube. So you had to really think super outside the box. You had to be really good with your landers and your funnels. The porn space was very educational for me. Psst. I sharpened my sword, I would say, in the porn space, because it's really hard to convert out there because of just all the stuff that's available.
Yeah. I was always curious because I know that a lot of them have these premium membership things, right? And now OnlyFans has completely shortcutted that whole process. I'm wondering if they make more money from ad revenue, like the pre-roll videos and stuff, or from memberships. Do you have any idea?
Yeah, for a long time, it was really only ad revenue for them. The membership sites aspect of it, they tried to take it off. They launched at one point with membership, and I think just a few years back, Visa and MasterCard completely banned them or whatever. So there was this whole thing on the news where none of the porn companies could process any transactions anymore. Things got really weird for us on the affiliate end as well. So we had to quickly pivot. I know for a fact that for a very long time, it was mainly from ad revenue, not necessarily the membership.
Is that because people can, if you have an ad client, then they'll do a wire transfer versus memberships need a credit card? Is that the logical reason?
Yeah, because a lot of these guys are people who are on these websites. They're like family people. There was this prepaid card thing that was like a really big deal that we were getting a lot of feedback on, where
The wife's not going to see the credit card bill, right?
yes, so they would go get the prepaid cards to put everything on there. And then the issue was that prepaid cards weren't able to get rebuilt. If people are trying to hide stuff from their wives or from their husbands or from whatever, people are going to try to find ways. But I do know for a fact that for a long time, ads was really how they made their money.
Have you advertised or promoted for brands that have a physical product?
Yes. So we've had, I've had a handful of brands so 21 Day Fix was a brand back in the day. I don't know if if you remember them. I think they ended up being bought out by Beachbody, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, physical products, nutritional stuff.
Because I'm about to launch something in like literally next week. I'm in San Diego and I've got this launch event for a physical product. It's called the Go Box. I kind of described this to you while we're on a break.
Yeah. Is that for you? Is that for traffic and conversion?
Yeah, I'm going to be there.
Oh, very nice. I might run into you. I haven't decided if I'm going to fly out there yet.
I've got a booth there, so you got to drop by and out.
Oh,
Yeah.
I definitely got to come see you there, man.
Yeah, I've got a booth there. If you need a pass, I got a few left. I'll give you a pass.
For sure. I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
But yeah, it's my first physical product. I've been doing agency work forever, but as you're saying this, I'm just like absorbing, like, okay, what can I learn from this guy? And maybe we'll have a conversation after this podcast about how you might be able to help me.
But yeah, physical products are definitely, I would say physical products to me, they're more difficult to push than digital for sure. Because, the cool part of digital is instant gratification. You can get access to your stuff right away. Physical products when you're selling on marketplaces, Amazon, Walmart, eBay, you can do really well on those platforms. But if they're not products that people have ever heard of, and you gotta be heavy on your ads and your brand awareness and all that stuff. And, video, in my opinion, have always been the best way to sell everything.
Videos crush.
Yeah, absolutely. We weren't spending any crazy money.
Well, what's crazy money? Because, people listening, some people have never spent 1 cent online on ads
The number was definitely less than 10 grand.
over the course of a year. So we're talking about like $8,000 ish a month.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, 800 a month, right?
No.
If we stretch out evenly. And
Yeah, exactly.
okay.
Here's my thing. We didn't really need the ads because the pictures and the videos were going so viral really fast. So once, I kind of showed him how to like shoot pictures, how to edit his videos. And once he started working with my partner and just, getting content out there, people were just sharing, sharing, sharing. The cool part about food is that you can post one good picture of food and then 100 people are clicking on it and they're sending it to their friends and those people now following. So it, we kind of rode a viral wave versus more so of
A push campaign, right?
yeah, because with other platforms, other things like, with like Wealthy College Kid, or when we were doing the porn stuff back in the day, it was very, very had ad heavy. You didn't have, cool food pics that make people hungry. And then, so you had to spend a lot of money on ads. So to answer your question about a lot on ads, like I remember, at one point wanting like spending $10,000 a day on clicks, and doing that consistently for months, you know what I mean? And then I've also been in situations where, you're spending 10 grand in a day and then it's not converting that well either.
Let's talk about you creating content about yourself. When did you start publishing yourself and what motivated you to do that?
I actually have not done any publication of my own self ever. I'm always behind the camera. If you go to my Instagram page, you'll see a few videos here and there and most of the stuff is just me testing ideas and concepts on my phone for the bigger brands that I'm actually going to be doing this stuff for. So I always just use my social media pages as just like a little testing just to see how it looks, just to figure out how idea-wise, how I'm going to take the same kind of concepts and help somebody with their big business with it. But I personally I have probably 8 or 9 years worth of stuff sitting around that I could put out a ton of content and I'm planning on it. But as of right now, I've been very reserved. I've always have pushed everybody else's stuff. But to answer your question, I've always felt in a way that I have to try to do my best. Because when you're a door-to-door sales guy, it's very similar to being on Instagram or being on Snapchat or being on TikTok, because you have very small window of seconds of where you have to say what you have to say before a person either scrolls or shuts the door on your face if you're doing door-to-door. And I think that when I create ads, in my mind, I'm always pretending that I'm that door-to-door sales guy in a way, not the corny sales guy. My biggest goal is to make sure that whatever we do, whatever we say, and however these videos look, it has to be impactful in the very first few seconds. You know what I mean? It has to look good. Whenever I'm looking through edits, I always look through edits first with no audio, because I feel like in most people's stuff, they're going to be on mute anyways when they're scrolling. And so if it visually is not captivating, they're never going to hit the unmute button to then watch the video. So I'm really big on it looking the way it needs to look, which is why I work with the guys, my partner, the way, but he's really great at that. And then from there, I'm always just thinking about script and message. What are we trying to convey here? If it's a new brand and they haven't made a dime or no one knows about them, then I'm always going to lead with stories first, because there's a gazillion people on the internet who's offering whatever product you're also offering, whether it's a course or whether it's a mastermind.
When someone asks you, like, what's the ROI of building my brand, right? What do you say to that? Because like what you said, you're building awareness, and it's hard to draw a direct correlation between you helping them to gain brand awareness and them getting money in the bank, right? So how do you say that? Because you must get that question from time to time.
Yeah, I don't really get that question a lot, because all of my shit converts. So,
So wait, but then you said brand awareness, but brand awareness is not like a direct correlation. So are you doing brand awareness plus conversions later on or something?
yeah. So as the brand is growing, so when I think of brand awareness campaigns, I'm thinking of like campaigns that are helping you get more followers. And the more followers that we're getting, the more sales we're getting through transactions. And so you're having a ton of people coming in looking to do private dining or people looking to do catering. So there is still semi-measurable. If I wanted to measure it, I would go back and do it. But at the end of the day, I didn't have to do that much because we were only coming from, trying to beat a $6,000 month. You know what I mean? And so even if you only had one person who next month decided, hey, I wanted to hire you for private dining, or I want to hire you to do my wedding, it's you're getting an ROI on these new followers. You know what I mean? And so yes, technically if I could wanted to go back and reverse engineer, I could measure everything out and be like, hey, we went from this amount of followers to this amount of followers, and this is how much money we've made over the time.
The Content Capitalist Podcast.